Our daughter tended to perseverate on issues, sometimes for years, and she still does. And at the time, she was a very black and white thinker. She's an artist, musician, and into theater, like so many of these girls, which led her to websites like Scratch and DeviantArt, which is rampant with this ideology. She was also being influenced by book series, especially anime, and even music. Her favorite band at the time was Cavetown, which is a trans-identified singer. Lastly, and most importantly, she was a part of an in-person friend group at her middle school who was obsessed with LGBTQ identities. And for my daughter, who was desperately searching for a place to fit in and belong, having a friend group indoctrinate her into these identities, but also have these makeshift identities ready for you with colorful flags and pronouns. It was very enticing to her because it gave her a sense of belonging and who she was. Everything surrounded around these flags and identities. That was the first question they would ask other peers that they came in contact with. What is your flag? What are your colors? What are your pronouns? 3 of her in-person friends, by the time our daughter announced her transgender identity, had also announced transgender identities. And as you all know, it no longer just means that you're identifying as the opposite sex. It can be non-binary, gender fluid, demi-girl, demi-boy. If you Google, I think there are now an infinite number of gender identities. As support to trans activists. The considerations portion of the plan for how best to support my daughter and help her through this. And I did a deep dive into this issue because I wanted to see with my own eyes what was convincing these children that they were born in the wrong body and to reject their body. And like Richie said in Jennifer's documentary coming out, it was all affirming their self-hate. Deadline, my daughter was 13. So in order to help her, I had to put my fear aside and reframe this issue. I had to pretend, instead of her asking for puberty blockers and binders, that she was asking for a new outfit, or that was, and not make our female child any less female. But you are not out of the woods. This was something I had to learn the hard way. Those root issues that made your child vulnerable to this ideology are still there. And they need to be identified and resolved for as long as it takes. These are the resources we found to be helpful to get our daughter to desist. Please take a photo because I'm gonna go quick. This is not an exhaustive list, and if you want a long list, you can look on Do No Harm's website for the page of protecting children from gender ideology.